Hey everyone, today we're going to do some oil pastel truffula trees, and right now I'm just pulling out the colors I would like for the top of my tree. I try to pick light colors, and we're going to make our truffula tree towards the top of our paper. In this example, you can see the pretty colorful part is at the top. So I'm going to start with my light green, and I'm going to make kind of like a flower, or it looks a lot like a firework. So I'm going to make curved lines. Curve all the way around in the same direction. So it's going to make a wheel all the way around my paper, all kind of the same size. It ends up looking like a firework at first, but make sure that those lines are curved, because if they're straight, it's going to look more like a sun than a firework. If you need more time, you can pause the video, but I'm going to go ahead and move on to my next color, which is going to be the dark green. So I'm kind of using light colors, so I did light green first, I'm going to do dark green second. And the same motion, I'm going to go over the top of my light green and just use the dark green all the way around. You can add another color if you would like a third color. I'm going to go ahead and grab a yellow and add a little bit of yellow to this once I'm finished with my green. So you can get to where you're mixing lots of colors together. Just make sure you're going in the same direction that you started. I'm going to pull this yellow and just add a little bit of interest to my picture. I'm going to add some yellow highlights in there. And I think 3 is enough colors for the top part. So I'm going to stop. If you want to pause the video, we're going to go and move on to our tree trunk, the bottom of our tree. For a lot of people, they use white because in the movie, the bottoms of the trees are white, or in the book, the Lorax, they're usually white. But I'm going to let you guys have, you get to choose what color you would like your trunk to be. I'm going to go ahead and choose the color orange. So we're going to start and make it look like the trunk is curving down to the bottom with a curved line. And let's make that trunk a little thicker by making a separate line and coloring it in. It looks kind of like a curved rectangle, a long and skinny rectangle. We're going to color in with that same color, whether it's orange or white, whatever color you decide to use. And then we're going to add some texture and some detail to our tree. Now, you can use whatever dark color will go over the color you chose first, but I'm going to go ahead with black. And I'm going to make more curved lines, like little smiley faces, all the way down my tree. Now, once you're done drawing your tree out, you can start adding the grass at the bottom. I'm just going to do some lines, but if you wanted to color it in all the way with your oil pastel, you could. I'm just going to fill it in with some hatching lines that go side to side to have that really awesome finished look. Make sure your grass goes behind your tree. This next example is what I used for my 2nd grade and up classes. Let's start by picking our colors for the top of our truffula trees. So I like to pick colors that are similar, like a light green and a dark green, or a pink and a red, because you will use multiple colors on the top part of your truffula tree. Let's start with our lightest color, which is pink, and we're basically going to make something that looks kind of like a firework by making these curved lines that go in the same direction all the way around. So it ends up looking kind of like a wheel or a flower or mostly a firework, but it's all going to go in the same direction. After you do your first layer with that pink color, your lightest color, we're going to go ahead and grab our different color, which will be purple. And I'm going to continue adding layers to this until I feel like I like it. I use about 2 or 3 colors each time, but you can use as many as you want, as long as you don't overdo it. Once we finish with our top of our tree, we're going to add our tree trunk. Now, usually in the movie, the tree trunk is white, but for this one, you can use any color. In the book, I think they might be white or yellow. So I'm going to use yellow. and go all the way down and make it curve, because this is Dr. Seuss, so it's not always a straight line. It's going to be a curved line that goes all the way down. We're going to fill it in to make it a nice thick tree trunk. And then we're going to add some texture stripes with our black. You can use another color if you want, just make sure that it's dark enough so that we can see it over your previous color. So I'm going to go with the black all the way down. Now I want to put one in the background. So this is in the foreground, and the next one I'm going to do is in the background. It's going to have to be a lot shorter and begin higher on your paper. So now I get to choose the colors I want to use for our next tree. I'm going to go with warm colors, yellow, orange, and red. I'll start with my lightest. This is going to be higher up on your paper, but since it's going to be a lot smaller, we're going to start by making the circle part of your flower or of your tree a little smaller than the original. I'm going to layer it with different colors to give it some interest. So I'm using yellow, orange, and red for this one. You can see that it's smaller than my original because it's in the background. This time I'm going to use white for my tree trunk, and I'm going to make it come down a lot shorter. So notice how it's now looking like it's higher up on my paper and it's smaller. I'm going to make that tree trunk a little bit thicker and add the details. I used a brown one, and I even outlined this one. I end up not liking it as much, but if you would like to do that, you are more than welcome to. Now we're going to make it look realistic by adding in some grass. You have two options for your grass. I am just doing little swatches of color. We learned about Vincent van Gogh a couple weeks ago, so we're just going to do swatches unless you would like to fill it all the way in. But notice how my grass goes all the way across both of my trees, and it goes behind, a little behind both of my trees. Now this next part is optional as well. If you like it this way, you do not have to add a sky color. You do not have to add blue for the sky. I am choosing to do that because my paper color is green, but if you would like to leave it without adding the background for the sky, you can do that as well. When you're done today, you're going to use some Germex on your hands to get that sticky feeling from those oil pastels off of your hands, and then turn your papers in. And here is what we did today. We'll pick up all of our oil pastels and get some Germex for our hands. Thanks for joining.